Welcome to the High Achieving Parents Podcast. I am your host, Severine Nassens, and I invite you to join us as we explore the reality and family experiences of high achieving parents around the globe. Learn from like-minded parents who do believe balance is possible, but not a one-size-fits-all proposition. Stay tuned for conversations about how my guests juggle successful careers in parenthood to make it all work in their own way. Will we find a common thread throughout these interviews? Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the High Achieving Parents Podcast. It is my distinct honor today to receive a dear friend whom I love with all my heart. We've been studying together. We've been through experiences together. We have had so many good times, and we've accompanied each other in the bad as well. Please help me welcome Zoe Martin all the way from Australia. And she's coming along with me as a high-achieving mom. She is a very successful coach. She's an amazing mom of two youngsters, Zhema and Billy, married to Scott. And she has something very special about her and her family. And they're very dear to my heart. They're all on the autistic spectrum. And it is a blessing for me to have Zoe in my life because I've learned so much about everything that she's been sharing. And I've been blessed to work with her as well. So welcome, Zoe.
Thank you. It is, my face is aching, that really beautiful, like heart expansive ache to be here now with you. And that introduction will take up a special place in my heart. And yeah, I am really looking forward to sharing today about being autistic, about being a high achieving parent and the dance, the dance of all the hats I wear and the failings and the mistakes and the achievements. Yeah.
I love that you refer to this as a dance. Because it is a dance, and it's not necessarily about keeping balance. It's about keeping all the plates spinning. It's about keeping everybody safe in that safe container of the family, in that safe container of love that you have for your family and for your clients as well, and providing them with that safe space to go through all the ups and downs and all the highs and the lows. Talking about highs and lows, what has been for you the highest achievement professionally? Because I know you have many great achievements throughout life, but professionally, what has been the highest achievement for you, and how has that impacted on your family?
So this is straight into the autism side of things. So with my autistic identity, which is my culture, it is me. Part of that is PDA, so pathological demand avoidance. So you ask a question of what is the highest achievement. My brain, so not my heart space, my emotional body, my brain goes into threat. It's like, it's got to be the highest. Quick, find the highest. Don't get it wrong. The highest.
Okay.
And avoid. I can't do that. I got them on a podcast.
All right.
Yeah. And this is what our kids get, this demand avoidant. So what I've trained and what I am still training myself to do is when asked these questions, go, okay, what are some of the big ones? And then my amygdala and my central nervous system can go, cool, find that data. So if I just take a pause.
It's only a few words, and it's such a huge difference.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Amazing.
Whereas someone who wasn't maybe demand avoidant their psyche would go, sweet, the biggest one is, yeah. And then it's the control, the perfectionism, the wronging, all that stuff that's very common in, the autism trauma, I guess. Yet, let's get into this because this is cool. So the biggies. Okay, trust. A big moment of trust in my career was when I decided to put down my career in banking and finance of 25 years. I've had a stellar career in that industry, and that was a massive moment in trust. Trust that at the age of, I think I was 42, that I could put that career down and start something new. Trust in that I was capable of making it work, knowing that I had responsibilities, energetically, emotionally, and financially to my husband and children. So that was huge. A big moment of courage in my career is when I published my book in November, Making Peace with Autism, which tells tells the truth about a family, the breakdown of a family, my family, and then one by one, the diagnosis of autism, and then ADHD and PDA. So that was courage for me, because the words are actually written in black and white. They're in a book. They're published global. And so for that part of my truth, and it does not tell, there are intricate moments that aren't to be seen. But, yeah, to really be seen and heard was a tremendous act of courage. I'm really proud of myself for that, because it took about 2 years to actually publish it after I'd written it. And then a big moment of love, a big moment of honouring the high-achieving woman within me was when a couple of years ago, I'm not great on time. So a couple of years ago, here in Brisbane, Australia, with the support of my husband, left my family for 2 weeks and travelled to what in my mind is the other side of the world, to America, my longest trip ever, and never have I been away from my family for that long, to do the Transcendental rebirthing certification. And that, we were just chatting about that before we came on here, and, that investment of energy and time, and the financial investment, and the same investment from my husband. That was a radical act of love for who I am and who I no longer wanted to be. So they're 3 really big moments for me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. How has the book impacted your family? Because I know many families are reading it. Many parents that have children on the spectrum are finding solace, are finding information in there that they haven't been able to find anywhere else. And I know that your kids are helping you sign the book. I know that they're excited about shipping the book and helping you getting it to those families. How has the impact been for Billy and Zhema?
Yeah, it's a great question, and thank you for asking it, because it has had, with Billy, it has gifted him more of a positive autistic identity. He's an 11-year-old boy. He is a highly intelligent, fierce loving competitor in life, and he is like an adult trapped in a child's body. And, life isn't easy for Billy at this stage. He is going to love being an adult and that autonomy. His PDA at this stage in his life is very much a disability, very much a disability. So to have him, there's one here, of course, but to have him want to be on this cover, this is my fam.
Yes.
I said to him, Billy, the publisher's called and the option is for me to go on the front cover. This is what they've suggested. Or Zhema and I to go on the front cover, or all of us. And he's like, she's not going on the front cover without me. I'm going on it. And I was like,
that
yes.
Rivalry.
So, he signs them, Bilma, which is his gaming tag, right? Zhema does pictures. She's drawing frogs at the moment in everyone's. She has drawn me pooing on the toilet in one of them, because that's what I was doing at the time while she's running around going, I need inspo. So see that, see the joy in that.
Yes.
So it has helped. It has helped. It was cathartic and healing for me at the start, and now it is no longer for or about me. But it has been a gift, especially to Billy. Yeah.
I'm so happy that you pushed through and you published that book, because we both work with parents, and I totally understand that parenting can be scary. Parenting can be complicated. It can be hard. And it has been, I think, on everybody, because there's no such thing as a parenting manual. Your child is born and it comes with a booklet and this is how it's done. It doesn't exist. And we can be professionally high achieving, and we can be professionally very organized and very well focused. But then when kids come around, like, okay, now what? Right? So your book is bringing such a light on the autistic world as parents, for children, that I think it's key. And also for me, for example, it has been an eye-opening experience to be able to speak with you and work with you and read everything that you share, because I do not know really many. I know people that have children on the spectrum, but I have not been through that experience. But for me, as a coach working with parents, it has been key for me to understand what happens with families that are within that situation, that deal with this very specific set of challenges to go through with the children, how to hold space for them, how to allow them to be in a safe container to live through all the emotions that can be very cathartic. So thank you, Zoe, for sharing that book. And I'll drop the link down below for people to go grab a copy. It is a must read for anybody who's working with children, who has children on the spectrum, or family members or friends' kids. It's just such a golden piece of information. For you and Scott, how has it been for you to find or to keep your sanity as parents, as a couple, and as individuals? Because obviously it all starts and begins with ourselves. It starts with that self-care and then bringing it into the family. So how do you manage?
Yeah, manage. That's the word that really sits well with me. It's like a business, Scott and I managing our emotions. And we have key things. We are clear on what we need. Scott is an intense, motivated human. And for him, it is his self-care is he works out. So during COVID, one of the blessings was he got the dream home gym of his life and from America. So that's in our garage, and that's key for him. He plays golf most Saturdays. So he has golf is his thing. And, we have systems, I guess you'd call them, that he's way better sticking to than me. So when he gets home from work, I am to gift him 10 minutes space of not talking to him, staying away. So he gets undressed, has his cup of coffee. I struggle with that. And, that's what he needs. Scott, for him, he's very, when we talk about one of our TR principles, everything has a right to exist. Scott has a right to exist how he is, and so do I, and there is a very strong driving, high achieving force in both of us, yet what on the outside we require very different things to feel and be successful. And, so for me, I love to be alone, yet then I crave his company, and that's hard for him. My go-tos are I am at my best when my fundamentals are being met. My sleep, which is my number one superpower, move, meditate, and, what I'm eating. So I do yoga. That's a non-negotiable for me every week. Walking is just I just process life through walking. It, moves through me. And, I guess the woo-woo stuff, I love to go to women's circles and full moon stuff, and you'll see me laying on the grass with my head touching the earth or hugging trees, and Billy goes, "People will think you're dead," like while I'm laying face down at a park, and I'm just like, oh, or I'm that random mum that we're just walking along and then I stop, take my shoes off and crouch down, and he's like, "Oh, not this crap again," and Scott will just eye roll and everyone will just keep walking now and leave me there and I'll catch up. So, but managing our emotions, you got 4 autistic people in this house and we feel first, right? So we feel, and then this thing we speak, it's our second language. So, man, it can just be a trigger-a-thon. One person's triggered that frequency, then boom. And I'll go, look, righto, here we are, all triggered. So, it's a daily, can be minute by minute, not week by week. People go, "Oh, yeah, we're going week by week." I'm like, wow, what's that? Yeah.
You have to take it moment by moment, situation by situation.
But hey, we know now. So that's the great news.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know where it comes from, you know why, you know how it's triggered, and you know what to do about it. And I think it's key for all of us to find the tools that work for our family, that work for ourselves, that provide us that safety net to go back to and to deal with situations, right?
And sometimes nothing works. And then it's that deep knowing that it will pass.
It will be okay.
Yeah. Can't do anything about this right now.
Yeah. Among all the things that parenthood brings, what I have found that there's a lot of wisdom in our children. What have been some of your favorite things that you've learned from being a mom, from your two kids?
Oh, I could talk about this all day. My 2 are, so they keep me accountable more than anyone else I know. And that's a tribute to Scott and I, as through our leadership in speaking who we want to be more of and less of, and then having them, hold both of us to that. So some of the big things are, they will pick up, call the best of me forward continuously in if there was tone, or if I have, said I'm going to do something. So I guess the biggest thing before I go down a rabbit hole is they have helped me be true to my word even more.
Wow. That is golden. Yeah. And I think our kids, they operate, and I've seen that with my daughter as well. You will promise, and you will see that with basically any child. If you promise them something, keep your promise, because they will remember. They will hold you accountable and say, hey, you promised me an ice cream 3 weeks ago. You better get them that ice cream by the time you promised, because they do remember. And I think it's setting that example of being truthful and promising what you can deliver, and not promising what you won't be able to deliver just to brush them off. Make sure that you're standing in your truth with the children, and they will hold you to that. And they're so honest and blunt about it. I really love that.
And isn't that how we want them to be, standing in their truth, careful with their word? And like this morning on the way to school, there was standard sibling stuff going on. And I made a threat. So I said to one of them, if you don't stop that now, I'm not going to. And said child went, oh, well, you clearly have nothing left in the tank because you've just dished out a threat. And that's the language I use. If I threaten, oh, you'll lose that, or we're not going to go, or I'm not going to get you that, when I realise, I will go, well, clearly I've got nothing left. I've just used a threat, because we don't do threats here. So, that's real life. This morning I'm like, yep, you're welcome, I said to said child, and we had a giggle, and that alchemized that.
The entire situation changed because of it. It's so amazing to be able to be truthful about these things, and having, I remember, I was not allowed to call my parents out ever, not even today, because it's just not done. But our kids, they do. My daughter, she will call me out as well. But it is because of the personal power language that we as moms use with them. We set the example of standing in our truth and of demanding the same respect from others, so they call us out. I think that's it's a big challenge to be called out by your child and not be triggered by it. So it is an amazing lesson. We lead by example, as you said. It's your leadership, yours and Scott's, that has brought them to this level of personal leadership for them as well. And bringing what I see is you are bringing your children up in an environment with strong leadership for them to lead to lead their own life, to lead for themselves, and then lead by example for others. And I think both of them will do huge things in the future. I don't know what. We'll see what comes. But with the example that you and Scott are putting into them, and what the seeds that you're planting, with the openness about autism, with the openness about PDA, with the openness that you share, you have taken the taboo away from a topic that many parents struggle with, that many people struggle with, because there is a lot of information, but not necessarily accurate. So thank you, Zoe, for shedding a light on the spectrum for others to be able to understand more, so that it becomes something we can deal with, we can work with, and we can support each other in.
I just would like to add in there, it's important for me to name that, you know, the PDA, that pathological demand avoidant, that has stripped Scott and I of every like single parenting rule or belief that we have ever had. And it's messy, and it's still messy. And I can't see it not ever being messy, and it's hard. You know, as it's 2021 right now. Yeah. So I just really wanted to, like, it is the hardest part so far around motherhood, and I'm sure Scott would agree, yet the greatest gift in leadership.
What is it that makes it the hardest, and what makes it the best, the biggest gift for you?
You know, disclaimer, these are all I statements, you know, my opinions, projections, perception. You can't parent a child. So my son, my daughter's PDA too, you know, different. But you can't parent Billy.
Okay.
Can't parent him. You tell him to do something, you hit him, you are hit back. You are on your phone, he can be on his phone. There is, when the brain is set up with that PDA and with his maturation and where his prefrontal cortex development is at 11, there is no, you can't sell him the idea that, you know what, a parent has the right to demand this or tell you that you will shower now, right? No. You can, and you can watch the soul die in front of you, and he would not be alive today.
Yeah.
From the age of 4 to he would not have made it, from 4 to now he would not. So the gift in that, which I am finding is more universal than not in autism, is less words. Don't show me, tell me. I mean, don't tell me, show me. Leadership. And
by example.
How beautiful that what you do and how you are in your flaws and in your greatness, that your child follows that.
Yes.
That, because we all know they're watching.
All the time.
So to ditch the word parenting and replace that with leadership, it's like in my book, I say I am their Sherpa. So I am with them, beside them, sometimes in front of them, sometimes behind them. I've got their stuff. That's my job. I've got their back. But I cannot take that step up Everest for them. They need to walk. And, you know, there is stuff, and I know this is like, you know, get into the work side of things and, you know, but there is stuff that went on here from the ages of 0 to 5, which is those key trauma moments and beyond, that I can't alchemize, that I am responsible for. You know, so when they're older, there's going to be that hard conversation around, look, you know, here are some options. If you want to get some help, and Zem is going to go, yeah, let's like get into it. And Billy will be like, you know, yeah, but this is the reality. This is an autistic family with two high-achieving parents,
Yes.
two go-getters, and, you know, motherhood and PDA and business just don't mix. Well,
it's a big package, and I think you, within, from what I've been able to witness and what I've been able to see, you've managed in such a graceful way. You've managed to name things, accept what it is, and work with what you have, and you continuously keep learning and working. You never stop, right? We never stop. And I think parenthood is also a learning curve. It's a journey that we're allowed to go on, to be Sherpas, the guides, the leaders, front and back and side, for our children, and let them as well guide us in so many ways. And that is something that you've already mentioned, that they guide you, they show you the way, they show you how it's done, not the other way around. And especially within the autistic realm, what I've understood is that they are so in tune with everything they are. They're so very conscious about everything that's happening, that they're such big teachers for us to learn from and to become more aware of who we are, where we're standing with our emotions, with our attitudes, with our actions. It's an amazing journey. Now, before we sign off today, Zoe, what would be a piece of advice that you would like to share with other high achieving?
I've got something that's bringing me a lot of peace right now is the awakening to, thank you to Mr. Tim Grover, which we have both had the privilege of working with, is
Yes.
that if I want everything balanced, if I want this balanced life, then I'm going to get mediocre results across the board. And that's okay, right? That's completely okay. Yet I don't want that. And that's okay for me not to want mediocre results across the board.
Yeah.
So it's bringing me a lot of peace where I get to choose where I want to put more energy to get higher results. And right now, it's in my business. And to own that and name that is so freeing.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's seasonal, right? And, you know, a season, a reason. You know, if there is a collapse or if there is something that within my family, within my children, like, and I look at my children, they're like an individual business. There's the business of the entity of Billy and, you know, his support workers and everything that goes with him. Entity of Zhema. There is the entity of my marriage, my business, the entity of me. So right now I'm going for it and there is more energy, time, money going into my business. And if I'm called to one of those other entities, then yes. But right now I'm going to get more results and I'm choosing that and I'm allowed to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I want it.
Yes.
I'm a mum and I'm taking, you know, sovereign mothers. You know, we're going to a new level. So it's just brought me so much peace in that, just that understanding, you know, that analogy of balance is that scale. So you got the scale, like Tim Grover says it, and okay, balance. There's even weight in everything. You're going to get even results. Right, I'm putting more in this. Whoo! It's out of balance.
But you have to tilt.
Yeah. And we're smart women.
From time to time.
That's why we're on this conversation, sharing this space, smart, wise, intelligent women who choose now, with more awareness and acceptance and grace, that right now my family needs more. So my business, something's going to give there. And that's okay. That's a choice. Yeah.
It's all about conscious choices and also making the agreements with your family that they know you're there, but right now your focus is here. If they need you, if there's an emergency, they can call, but you're focused here. And I think it's so refreshing to hear you name that and to bring it up front that it is okay for us to focus on our business. It is okay for us to focus on us first, because if we're good, if we're aligned, if we're happy, then everything around us flows and the kids are happier, the marriage is happier, everything works out a lot better.
You just led into, I brought my bunny with me today and I just went, here is the time to show my bunny. My daughter and I have these, right? These little bunnies. And when I'm selling out on myself, this is me as a mum.
Oh, no. Yeah. It's just genius.
Isn't it? So
these bunnies are
every
genius.
parent has their inner bunny.
Yes.
Yeah, we all do.
We do.
Yeah.
We all do. Absolutely. Zoe, where can people find you? How can they reach out to you if they want more information or if they want to work with you? Where do they go?
ZoeMartin.com. And my social media stuff is ZoeMartin.com.
Perfect.
And, I just want to name that no question is off limits with me, because there are so many parents out there who have these dark, horrible thoughts and feelings and feel there's no one to ask about them, and I am that person. And I'd really love to dedicate this time, because that's all we have, is energy and time. Yeah. And dedicate our time together today, as you are the sacred space holder of this. And, just dedicate it to all the high achieving parents out there. As being a high achieving parent, you're dancing in the light and the dark. So I dedicate this, and may high achieving parents of the past, now, and emerging,
and the future,
allow more peace come into their heart.
Amen. That's it. That we ended this one with a beautiful prayer. Thank you so much, Zoe, for joining me, for sharing, sending you and the family much, much love, and we will be talking soon. I'm already looking forward to our next session. What was your major takeaway from this one? I'd love to hear from you. Come and share your insights with me on social media at Coach Séverine Nassens, and visit highachievingparents.com for more information on how you too can find clarity and obtain the tools to find fulfillment in both your professional and family life. Talk to you soon.